Hey guys, Clumsy here, and I'm excited to welcome you to OnAir Airline Manager. You might have seen or heard about this one recently. It's been getting a lot of traction, and I wanted to get into it as well because I tried exploring it a bit and I like what I see. Now, OnAir is a subscription-based platform, so you normally have to pay every month to have access to it, but there is a 7-day free trial period as far as I know. So you can try it out first and see if you like it, and then you can decide. That's where we are in right now. So I'm only starting out. You can see 1 employee, 1 aircraft. We are back to basics on this one. We'll have a look at it and we'll decide if we want to push through with this series and we want to really go for it. But OnAir Airline Manager is a full-blown simulator, a full-blown business simulator as far as I understand. And you can go as simple as you want, simply flying planes from one place to the other, or you can go on full business side of things where you have asset debt to, you have a debt ratio, a return on assets, all the different business terms you can look at. You can have like accounting stuff, cash flow statements, bank loans, so you can go super detailed, and I'm very excited to explore that part actually. So it mixes up very well the business side of things along with the joy of flying. I think as a matter of fact, you can actually do and work with the OnAir Airline Manager standalone. Like you don't even need to fly it on your own. There is an option for it to be a full business simulator, a full airline simulator only. But for us, of course, we want to fly as well, right? So in this video, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to fly our Cessna 172. We have a single aircraft here. We are based in Subic in the Philippines. And we have a couple of missions, couple of jobs for us. I'm still fumbling around with the menu a bit. Takes a bit of getting used to. Here we are. Okay, I'm currently level 2. Yes, that's like a few hours in. And this mission for level 2 is something that if we do this, we'll get 2000 XP, which is basically short of saying we level up immediately. Because if you look at the levels here, level 2, we are 51 out of 2000. And if you finish all those jobs or that entire mission chain, we get 2000 XP, so we get level up immediately. So that's what I wanted to do, because leveling up allows you to get certain skills. There's even a skills tree in here. So yeah, it is super complex, and this is exactly what I've been looking for, a proper career mode where I can really do a deep dive on not only the aviation side of things, but also the business side. Super cool. Alright, but anyway, yeah, we are going to do this particular leg. So we're doing a mission, this one, and I like this because you can, this particular combination that I came up with, you can regenerate it, so it randomizes the list of legs. But this one I came up with starts from Subic to Caticlan. Oh, that's perfect. Caticlan, that's a very short airport, but since we're flying a Cessna, should not be a problem. So it does it leg per leg, from Subic to Caticlan, and then the next leg is from Caticlan to Fort Magsaysay, and then from Fort Magsaysay to San Jose. But yeah, it's continuous, as you can see. And sometimes you're taking cargo, sometimes you're taking passengers, and that's pretty cool. So yeah, this is what we'll do. We'll do the first leg, and I'll probably have to cut a lot because it's a 198 nautical mile journey on a Cessna. So it will probably take hours. I don't know how long, but yeah. Anyway, so let's start things up here. How we do that is we go to aircraft, and then we have this prepare your flight. And then here is the preparation screen. We can see the available loads for us at this airport. So this depends on what jobs you've taken. This is the first leg. So this one is going to Caticlan, Romeo Papa Victor Echo. And if we take that, then that gets included in our payload. So here we do our weight and balance thingy. Yes, that's the technical term. And if you look at this one, actually it's perfect. We are almost at the limit of our gross weight. So filled to the brim basically, our plane. 80% fuel. We have some more stats here. Very useful to know if you have enough fuel for where you want to go. So range is 454. We are flying like 198 miles. Yeah, so should be more than enough. So confirm and go fly now. So what this will do actually, and this is a very realistic part of it. You can see passengers okay because we don't have any passengers, but you see this bar here. It's building up bit by bit and it says 0.4 minutes. It's actually simulating that you're loading up the cargo. Remember we said we had 403 pounds of cargoes to be loaded? Well, that doesn't take an instant to load, that takes some time. So that is simulating that here. It's pretty cool. And then I plug in Romeo Papa, what is the destination? Victor Echo. And then it gives us an alternate, that's a different one. Victor Echo, Caticlan. Alternate is Iloilo International. Okay, it says cargo is okay. That looks good now. Select crew. There is an option even to hire AI pilots. So you can really do a business simulation kind of thing where you have employees and they fly for you. Then you can do jobs on your own, but at the same time have them do jobs in parallel for more effectiveness, for more revenues. So we'll explore that also as we go, but as I mentioned, I'm still very new at this, so any tips you can provide is going to be perfect. Alright, so here we have tracking conditions, and this just gives an idea of how prepared you are in starting the flight. Date, fuel, total payload, everything looks good. But the location is still not okay because we have not yet loaded into the sim. So we have to load there and then we can start tracking. So I'll meet you guys in the cockpit. 1 second. Alright guys, here we are. Time to start the flight. So now we can see that all of the checks are there and now we can start tracking. It also sees where we are currently. That looks perfect. So let's go ahead and start that. That should sync up the fuel and the cargo. Trying to look if my plane will suddenly bounce because of the additional weight. Okay, it looks good. Session is being tracked, 44.8 gallons. Let's check that inside if that is representative. Yes, indeed. 2040. Yeah, 80% fuel. Good. Alright. Looks good. Now, I have tracked as well all of the other things in the flight. Let me share with you our flight plan overall. So this is going to be how it's going to look like. I used little nav map to do my flight planning. So from Subic Bay to Caticlan Airport, we'll be doing an IFR flight. So we don't risk any changes to the weather. We just file it immediately and fly IFR. And how we'll do that is we'll join this departure. It is, I think, a Susi to Alpha departure onto Susi at or above 6,000 feet. So we depart via runway 07. We turn left towards Subic Bay VOR, and then we track 189 degrees radial of that VOR direct to Susi. Should be at or above 6,000 feet by then. And then we proceed straight to Verde, Simar, and then we join the Tape 5 Alpha arrival, the Taper 5 Alpha arrival to Cabal. And then we do the RNAV 25, RNAV 24 approach to Caticlan. So we'll see how well this plane can follow those IFR procedures. So far, I've mostly done VFR with this small little aircraft here, but it should be more than capable to do so. Now, one thing I wanted to highlight is this OnAir Manager is actually pretty detailed in that it tracks everything that you do, even to the point that do you have your lights while taxiing? Do you have your landing lights while taking off, landing? And if you don't, each of those will incur a penalty. If you do, then you will get a bonus with the safety, smoothness, all that stuff. So it is all very detailed. Very nice. That's what I like exactly. Make sure parking brake is set. Fuel shut off is open. Let's get the fuel pump going in here.
Your flight will be monitored until you land and shut down the engines.
You also see some notifications in here to indicate that OnAir is indeed tracking the flight properly. Let's go ahead and start the engine here. Did that not work? Come on, there we go. That was a bit more challenging. I might have drowned that with fuel a bit, but we're there. Good. Alright, alternator is on, avionics are on. Let's get a bit of glare shield in here. Get proper lighting. This 7:58 in the morning, 28 degrees Celsius outside. Looking good. In terms of the flight plan, it seems to have captured that properly so far. We'll see how that changes later on. That does seem to be weird, so I guess we will fly it manually for now. GPS, nav. Now we can track that in addition. Subic Bay VOR is 113.5. So we can track that like so. That should change here. There we go. We've captured that VOR. And well, basically track going there. 2, yes. So the course would be, oh, that's pretty close. Somewhere here, 27 maybe. That one. So around the 24250 degree heading, we should head straight into the VOR then. Right, that looks good. Nav we can turn on already. Let's go ahead and get clearance from air traffic control. I also have pilot to ATC, of course, to simulate the experience. First, let's go ahead and tune in to clearance delivery. So we switch back to COM. 121.3 is the frequency. And there we are. Switch it up. And request for IFR clearance. Mark, take it away, our co-pilot.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima ready to copy IFR clearance.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima is cleared to Romeo Papa Victor Echo. Climb via the Su-2 a departure, with the Suzy transition, then as filed. Expect departure runway 07. Climb to 10,000 feet via the departure. Expect higher clearances 6 minutes after departure. Squawk 5166.
5166.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima is cleared to Romeo Papa Victor Echo. Climb via the Su-2A departure with the Suzy transition, then is filed. Climb to 10,000 feet via the departure. Expect higher clearances 6 minutes after departure. Squawk 5166.
997.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima rear back correct. QNH is 1008. Contact ground on
QNH is set.
121.8 when ready to taxi.
121.8
Have a nice day.
on ground.
QNH is 1008. Ground on 121.8. Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
Clearance ready. 997. 997.
121.8, we are ready to taxi. Let's check my rudders here. Looks good. Let's turn on our taxi lights. We might get penalized. Alright, looking good so far. Let me disable the preview there so it won't lag as much. Hopefully that's better. Alright.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima ready to taxi.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima taxi to runway 07 via taxiways Charlie, Delta, hold short runway 07.
Nice accent.
Taxi to runway 07 via taxiways Charlie Delta, hold short runway 07 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
So it's pretty straightforward. This is Charlie. This is Delta. On to the runway 07. Okay, let's go do that. Working brake is released. Now with OnAir, they do like to have flaps whenever you take off. I'm not sure if they will change that eventually. But if you don't have your flaps, regardless of the aircraft, you'll get a penalty. So, not really fond of that, but we'll follow it. So let's set flaps 1 here. Or how do you call it in the 172? Flaps 10? Yeah, flaps 10 for 10 degrees. But it's not going to matter that much, so it's okay. So this is taxiway Charlie. Turn left on here. Might be taxiing a bit too fast, but that's okay. No one else here. Looking good. Alright. So this is taxiway Charlie. As we turn right, that will be Delta 1 to be specific.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima contact tower on 118.2. Good day.
Tower on 118.2 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
Slow down here. It's hard to multitask with this plane because I can't just dial the frequencies. I have to go to that zoomed in instrument page. 118.2. Right, let's stop here. 118.2. I do love simulating a flight as realistically as possible. All the different frequencies, communications, navigations, and everything. 118.2, we are now tracking, we're now tuned into the tower. So let's go ahead and tell tower that we are ready for departure.
Tower Cessna 1 Charlie Lima ready for departure runway 07.
Strobes are on, landing lights
Cessna
are on.
1 Charlie Lima,
Fuel
winds are
pump is on.
062 at 5 knots, cleared for takeoff, runway 07.
Cleared for takeoff runway 07 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
Alright, make sure we have our lights, everything is set. Yes, takeoff trim, set that for takeoff. Looking good. Let's do one more check on final. Final is clear. Right, windsock. This is the right runway. Looking good there. Let's do a rolling start here. Takeoff power is set. Should have proper headwind. Let's just keep center line. Give some back pressure on the yoke and off we go.
Airborne time log.
Let's keep this going. Just maintain runway heading as far as we can. 300 feet above ground. Flaps going up. Looking good. Let's pitch for 70 knots. That's our best rate of climb. Looking good there. Okay. I'm just going to go continue straight because if I look at the GPS, you see there's that D0 waypoint that it seems to expect us to go to. So I'll just go close there so it'll move to the next waypoint because yeah, it's still a bit buggy how these waypoints are working out with the GPS. So after that changes, seems like in 10 seconds we should arrive at that waypoint. We can turn left. There we go. Turn left to Subic Bay VOR. And at this point, actually, I think I can switch over to GPS here. There you go. GPS and nav, they are both getting tracked properly. There's Subic right there. Beautiful view. It's going to be a lengthy flight, guys. I think almost 2 hours, but I won't let you suffer through all of that. Don't worry. So if we're going straight to the VOR, then that should be heading around 240 degrees. So this one, there you go. That should be straight onto the VOR right there. We move to the left a bit. Just overfly the airport. Subic Bay should be right across. Yeah, that looks good. Let's just keep this. If I zoom out, yeah, Subic Bay is right there. Okay, good. 70 knots. Looks good. We are above 1,000 feet. We can turn off our landing lights. Fuel pump can go off. Everything else will remain as is. Looking good. Alright. So what I can do now is normally I can just say direct Subic Bay in the GPS, but that's still a bit buggy as far as I know. So instead we'll do runway heading here. Turn on the autopilot, go to heading mode, and go to VS mode, 500 feet per minute. And that one will be a bit tricky with this plane, because if you set a very high VS, you'll lose airspeed and you'll stall. So we'll have to play with that a bit, increasing that 100, 200 feet at a time. So we are looking for 70 knots here. If that goes too low, we lower the VS. If that goes too high, we increase the VS. And that looks like it's getting a bit steep. Yeah, we are losing a bit of altitude. And now I can also balance the mixture a bit, so we get more power. Something like that. Lower that to 500 feet per minute. Subic. We're actually very far away from it now. Subic Bay. So let's turn left here. Should be good. Yeah, look at that. Start of stall. So that might actually incur a penalty. OnAir actually got that. So from here we can go track GPS, go to nav mode. Yeah, it's very weird. The autopilot is a bit buggy. Even though I say 0 feet per minute VS, it's still trying to pull the nose up. Very, very weird. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, how about that? So 0 feet per minute. Sometimes you just have to restart things. Now it's looking good. Now we can continue climbing again. What's interesting is we still haven't been handed over to a different frequency. We're still on tower, and they still haven't given us any other instructions. We'll wait for it. How much we're moving left and right here. Interesting. Right, but that looks like we are more or less stable. There we go. That's more like it. Let's climb at 800 feet per minute. Let's see how that works. And I'll balance again with the airspeed later. Yeah, it's a bit tricky with the autopilot in the 172. Less checks, there's no flight level change mode. So you really have to mix the VS bit by bit. Might actually be better to just fly this manually. Anyway, alright, so I'll keep on this. And I'll bring you guys back when there's a nice sight, when something happens. Wish me luck that we don't stall fully. Got close, but now we are moving properly. See you guys in a bit. Welcome back. Haven't gone far. Just wanted to show you the beautiful view from this site. And that I switched to manual. I'm not doing the autopilot thing anymore. It's just so finicky. It keeps on stalling me. Even if I set like a 500 feet per minute climb, it just, yeah, it's not good enough. It's too sensitive to a stall. It's much easier for me to do it this way. Fly manually, hand fly this. Just keep 70 knots, whatever the climb rate will be. Makes much more sense in a plane like this. Focus on the airspeed, and we climb at whatever rate we can climb at. So I'll continue this one, and I'll bring you guys up to speed when we are at cruising altitude. That should be around 11,000 feet, more or less. We'll see what ATC gives us. Right, catch you guys in a bit. Couple of minutes have passed. Still hand flying this thing. My foot is starting to ache. My right foot is still on the rudder. Because if not, you can see
Cessna
we are
1 Charlie Lima climb and
finally.
maintain 1,000 feet.
1,000.
Climb and maintain 1,000 feet Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
Because we are reaching 10,000 feet here. Strangely enough, we are still on tower frequency, which I don't think is correct. But if I let go of my foot, you can see we are slightly uncoordinated in there. So while climbing, as long as we have takeoff or full throttle set, have to apply a bit of right rudder to make that fully coordinated like so. That's fine. It's all part of the exercise. Now I'm trying to stay on the exact track, so this one is actually proving very useful. That means I am on the left of where I should be based on the waypoint of the GPS, because I do have GPS mode enabled here. So let's turn to the right. Let's try and capture that properly. There we go. The line is closing in on the donut. I think some of the instructors call it that donut. And then once that's closing in, we turn back in on a 188 track. Something along these lines. Good. Mixture is going very low. Going almost full lean here now, because we are getting as high as this plane can take. And I guess up these altitudes it's getting harder to breathe as well, because this aircraft is not pressurized. So I guess, yeah, getting harder to breathe, but still getting there. We'll see if I black out in a few minutes. Hopefully not. I also realized something. This departure might not have been the safest for this plane, because if you look at how far away we are from land, we are quite far, and it's looking quite scary. So I'm not sure if, yeah, this departure is actually authorized, or we are authorized to actually fly on this departure, but we'll assume that we are for creative freedom's sake. I don't know. But yeah, I'll catch you guys later as we do our approach, once we start our descent or when I see something cool. Catch you guys in a bit. Finally, we have arrived at our cruising altitude after like, I don't know, 30 minutes. Oh my goodness. It's night and day difference flying with a TBM and then going back to the Cessna. My goodness, it does take some time to climb up there, huh? But that's cool. At least we get to enjoy the hand flying experience. So I actually went a bit above my altitude here. Let me set cruise power here around 2300 RPM. Around that point would be nice. Let's descend a bit so we stick to 11,000 feet. I didn't even know that that arm existed. You see that triangle there? That I think highlights if you're in the 0 or 10,000 range. Don't see that changing too often. Coincidentally, we are also arriving at Susi waypoint. So we've only started arriving at the end of our departure procedure, our SID. Alright, let's trim that. That looks perfect. Now let's handle the leaning. So what I can do here now, because we're not climbing anymore, is I can actually set autopilot nav. VS is 0. So that's cool. 11,000 feet. Hold that, please. I hope it does hold that. Alright. Now direct to Verde. That will take like 30 minutes to Verde. That's fine. I'll take care of things. What I wanted to do was once we get our wings level here is look for that perfect mixture so that we are doing this lean off peak. So we are saving on fuel and increasing the longevity of the engine. Right. Let's just wait for the plane to find that proper track. It will sway left and right for a bit before it finds it. The autopilot is not yet super smooth when it comes to that, but it is finding it bit by bit now. Getting there eventually. My goodness, how much it's swaying. It shouldn't do that, I don't think. But better to have something, at least some level of automation. I'll take it. Alright, there you go. Now we are level. Now we can try. We should start accelerating here. Let's try looking for that peak EGT. So here's the EGT. There's the fuel flow. I'll be playing with the mixture. So in terms of fuel flow, that's the peak. 2300. I guess we can afford to push more there a bit on the throttle. There's 2300 RPM. Looking good. EGT is actually almost non-existent. It's just flat down there. So I guess what I'll do is I'll just do that. So I find the peak fuel flow. That's the peak. Go a bit lean on that. Because normally I guess you would have to look at the EGT here, but that's proving very hard to see because of how small the differences are. Unless we really zoom in there. It is falling. There you go. That might actually work. Yeah. Alright, let's keep it there. That looks like the lean of peak. As much as I could do anyway. And if you look here, it doesn't seem like we are doing it we are going very fast because it does say 80 knots indicated, but actually if you look over here, our ground speed should be only 89. How are winds like? We must have some pretty strong winds here. Well, yeah, we'll not be getting to our destination anytime soon, but we'll get there eventually, so I'll bring you guys back when there is something to mention. Wish me luck. Now this one I can get behind. Beautiful views from up 11,000 feet above ground. Very nice, and just enjoying the clouds here. Cloud surfing, more or less. I've been looking at the other external views as well. Very nice to tinker with. Let's go and try out some of them. So camera, showcase, this one in particular, external 4. Sorry, it's a bit loud, but my goodness, that looks great. So showcase, fixed camera, different options here. That actually looks kind of nice as well. Oh, not too shabby. Yeah. But this is my favorite. Oh, yes. And wanted to teach you guys a trick I learned recently. This is not a well-known trick, but apparently there is time acceleration in this sim as well. It's just not advertised. So if you go to controls here and you look at keyboard, go for all, and then I think acceleration or simulation rate. Simulation. Yeah, sim rate, there you go. You can decrease or increase it, so go a bit slow-mo or go faster. That's going to be very beneficial for these kinds of long flights. And that's also compatible with OnAir, so OnAir will be able to capture that. I think a disadvantage is you won't be able to fly your next flight because it will detect that you accelerated, so you'll have to wait for the real arrival time before you can take your next flight. So you can't cheat that way, but at least you can finish it earlier. Just wait for a bit. What I would suggest though before doing that is you are flying level, just to be on the safe side, because if you're climbing then Autopilot might have a harder time doing that. And in this plane specifically, or in others, go and set the timer. So this one, the ET, estimated time, elapsed time, and start the timer. That's just mainly so you have an indication of how fast the seconds are going by. So that's ×1 rate, because once you do accelerate the time, there is no indication what is the current time acceleration. So the only way you'll know is by looking at that timer. So right now I hit the key twice, and it's, I don't know how fast that is, ×3 or ×4 maybe. And if you go too fast, then you get there faster, but there is an added watch out, because the Autopilot will be having harder and harder time keeping you level. If you go too fast, you see we're starting to oscillate. Yeah, it's going to start getting pretty hairy. So my suggestion is, if you're ever going to do this, just maybe accelerate the speed maybe twice, and that would be the extent of it. So let's do that. Hit that twice, and we have that gentle acceleration that doesn't cause any negative effect. 3 times looks like it's still good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. My goodness, look at those clouds, huh? I turned off track IR in the meantime just so I can relax a bit. Fluffy clouds for the win. Man, that looks so good. With the Cessna, you don't get these views that often. You rarely go up this high. Oh, there's actually a mountain that high over there. That is pretty cool. Let's go slower here, because it is getting bobby. What mountain is that? To our right? Mount Halcon looks like. That's a very high mountain, huh? Wonder what the top of, what the peak is like. Maybe around 10,000 feet? That looks so good though. My goodness. Alright guys, I'll bring you guys back in a bit. I'm going to enjoy this first. Catch you later. Well, that looks a bit ominous. Things are getting scarier. But at least we're getting closer to where we need to go. We actually just finished, just past taper, onto Cabal now. This is actually the start of the arrival already. If I show you, this is the taper 5 alpha arrival. So at or above 8,000 at taper, and at Cabal at or above 3,000, we should be starting our descent in a couple of minutes based on what pilot to ATC is telling me, at a 1,500 feet per minute descent rate. So there is the top of descent indicator. That's the top of descent estimated time en route, and descent rate is 15 FPM. But I'm hoping pilot to ATC is still alive, because until now I still haven't been transferred to a center. I'm still on tower frequency of Subic, believe it or not. Somehow I don't think it's able to see any frequencies in this area, like center frequencies to transfer me to. Not sure which app is responsible for that, if that's Navigraph, if that's in the sim. But yeah, in this particular area, it doesn't seem like there is any air traffic control. So we'll see if they will give us descent instructions. What I wanted to do is to plug in the procedure here, the RNAV 24 procedure. Let's see if that will change. What is that? Ooh, procedure. So if we can select an approach. No, I don't want that. Can I change it? There we go. RNAV 24 is what we want. There, enter, and then transition is Cabal. Yes, and then let's activate that. Did that change? Okay, that looks good so far. Yeah, that looks good. So far it looks like it's properly set up. What I found is it's safest to activate the approach only on that final leg, right before you reach the initial approach fix. So before you reach the end of your arrival and before you start your approach, that's when you activate it. If you activated it earlier or load it earlier, it can be a bit disastrous. Right, top of descent is in 20 seconds. I'll leave you guys here. Well, I'll keep you guys here. We'll wait if ATC gives us any instructions, and if not, then I might have to do stuff on my own. We'll see. T minus, and it stopped. 3 seconds. Here we go. ATC. Hello. Well, doesn't seem like that's happening. So what I can do, if I bring back the pilot to ATC app in here, I can say request. There should be an en route descent here. Well, because this is a tower frequency, it might actually not happen. But what we can probably do, is there any frequency nearby already? We do have an approach ready here. We have Mactan Center as well. So let's request frequency change to maybe to approach.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima request frequency change to approach.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima contact Subic approach on 119.1 enjoy.
Subic? No. Okay, let's move to center first.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima request frequency change to center.
No comment. Alright, let's switch to 127.5. That's what the frequency they gave us. This might get a bit hairy. .5. Alright, is there anything in this frequency? Mactan Center. Okay, they did assign us to center. Perfect. Alright, so now we can say en route descent.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima would like an en route descent.
Come on, don't fail me now. Maybe I should report in first.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima at flight level 110. Contact Colabo INTL approach on 120.4. Have a good morning.
0.4. Why do we have the same voice again? I thought I fixed that already.
Approach on 120.4 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
Okay. Switch that in. Let's report in.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima at 1,000 feet.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima, good morning. Radar contact. Cessna 1 Charlie Lima, fly the Tape 5 Alpha, arrival with the taper transition for the RNAV approach to runway 24 with the Cabal transition at Godofredo P. Ramos.
There you go.
Fly the Tape 5 Alpha, arrival with the taper transition for the RNAV approach to runway 24 with the Cabal transition Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
And then can we request an en route descent now?
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima would like an en route descent.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima, at pilot discretion.
There we go.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
Alright. We'll have to make it fast here. Throttle down fully. How fast can we go? I guess I can descend faster as long as we don't reach those, as long as we don't exceed 130 knots. 2,000 feet per minute seems like a possibility so far. In the meantime, let's go ahead and brief the approach. We are very high here. 3,000 at or above 3,000. We should be at 3,000 at Cabal ideally. So we should be losing 6,000 feet. Yikes, that's going to be a bit hairy. But hopefully we can catch up. 1,600 is the final approach altitude. Let's see if the navigation systems of the Cessna can handle automation or if we'll have to fly that manually. But yeah, looks like I can maybe descend a bit faster. 2,200. Just edging it close to that green bar there.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima, QNH is 1013, cleared for the RNAV approach to runway 24 with the Cabal transition at Godofredo P. Ramos.
Okay.
QNH is
Cleared for the
1013,
RNAV
cleared
approach.
for the RNAV approach to runway 24 with the Cabal transition Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
Tower frequency should be 118.6. Let's go and prepare that as they transfer us in a bit. Alright, we are at the edge of that green bar. That's okay. Might not be so bad. He might actually make it. We'll see. Is this safe though? Oh, those are some thick clouds. Thankfully we are in IFR. We are losing altitude pretty fast here. In terms of the GPS, Victor Echo 502,
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima, descend via the Cabal transition to 3,000 feet. Cessna 1 Charlie Lima, QNH is 1013 at Godofredo P. Ramos, contact tower on 118.6. Enjoy
we got
your
that
morning.
right. Nice.
QNH is 1013 tower on 118.6 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
Alright, let's go ahead and switch to tower. Tell them that we are inbound for RNAV 24 approach. Punching through some clouds here.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima inbound for RNAV approach to runway 24.
Let's get a bit off panel
Cessna 1
lighting.
Charlie Lima, good morning. Radar contact. Continue enroute to runway 24, call when established on final.
So we should actually descend to 1,600 feet.
Continue RNAV to runway 24 will call when established on final Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
With this kind of descent rate, it's actually not bad. I think we will be reaching 1,600 feet pretty soon. are in the thick of clouds, but doesn't really feel like it, huh? It feels a bit too stable. Right, let's slow that descent a bit because that's getting a bit scary looking. There we go. We see something below already. Is that the sea? It looks like it. Airport should be right to our right. That is looking pretty good. Alright, let's go and turn on our landing lights. Fuel pump is on. 1600, there we are. Awesome. In terms of the approach, 50 seconds and then we turn right towards the final approach fix. That's the chart. 245 degrees. Missed approach procedure. 1 second, let me just check my airspeed here. We are going really slow here. Bring it back, there you go. So I heard the engine just starting to die down and it sounded very scary. So missed approach, climb to 1000 on course 245 degrees, then right direct to Criso and hold. Hope we don't need to do that, but we'll see. Now one of the main problems that I'm seeing, right, we're starting our right turn now towards the final approach fix. The main problem I'm seeing is this airport supposedly has 5,000 feet, but in the sim we have an older airport where the airport was still not constructed completely, so like half the runway there. So we'll have to see how that looks once we get closer. Right, but here, how do we do that? Can we say approach? Okay, we are in approach mode. So by the time we hit Victor Echo 501, which is the final approach fix, it should automatically descend at a 3-degree slope. We'll see if it will be able to capture that. It's looking pretty good so far though. Let's keep everything as is. That's the airport. You can see it's like half of that, the initial part is white. That's the in progress, work in progress stuff. I think this satellite image is like, I don't know, probably 3 years old or something. Boracay is right there. We don't see much of it yet, but we've done a separate video on that. If you want to check out the playlist link in the video description. And I know I mentioned that this video would be 30 minutes. Failing hard at that. We'll have to balance that a bit. You guys let me know what kind of video length you prefer, but it's hard to miss out on some of the details, so we'll have to prioritize, I guess, if you want a shorter video. But yeah, let me know and we can adjust as necessary. Alright, final approach fix here. Mixture is full. Flaps, we don't have any flaps yet. We can set that up later. Victor Echo 501 in 17 seconds. Let's see if it will capture that automatically and if I didn't miss anything. Alright, there we go. Are we descending? Approach. It is working, guys. Look at that. It did capture the glide path. So we are descending now. 3-degree slope down straight onto the runway. That is beautiful. So now we can report that we are established.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima established on final for RNAV approach runway 24.
We are not being given clearance yet. Just throttling down here because I want to slow down so that we can deploy our flaps. Yeah, no need to worry though. We can slow down that much. It's fine. Minimums for this one is 830 feet, but seeing that the weather is pretty good, we are on stable approach. Most likely we will be able to continue. Let's call tower again. Maybe they were busy.
Cessna 1 Charlie Lima established on final for RNAV approach runway 24.
There we go, there's our minimums. Continue. And now I can really slow down and deploy those flaps bit by bit. Enter.
Cessna 1 Charlie
There we
Lima
go.
winds are calm, clear to land runway 24.
Awesome.
Clear to land runway 24 Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
So yeah, now you can start seeing it. So like the airport is half finished. The lights are there, but it's still white, so I'm not so sure. Start deploying flaps. Move the autopilot, we can take care of this on our own now. That's more like it. One more notch of flaps. Man, that is beautiful. The reflections there, huh? That looks so scenic. Looks like some bad weather coming up though. Let's go full flaps here. Where is the touchdown zone? It's a bit confusing. I think there it is in front of us. Okay, that's fine. No need to rush things. Yeah, there's the touchdown zone. Alright. Let's work on our flare. Easy, easy, easy.
Landing time locked.
Cessna
There we
1
go.
Charlie Lima
Awesome.
exit runway when able.
Victor Echo. Caticlan.
Alright, OnAir seemed to have detected that. Let's just roll out here all the way, exiting on the right in a bit. Get those flaps back up. There's the taxi. Way out of the runway. Is that the TBM? It is. Very nice looking. I miss that plane for these long flights, but I got to enjoy the scenery, so no worries. Alright, looking good. We are clear of the active.
Clear of active Cessna 1 Charlie Lima.
Let's just go ahead and stop
Cessna
here.
1 Charlie Lima stay with me until fully clear of active. Cessna 1 Charlie Lima welcome to Godofredo P. Ramos. There is no ground control at this airport. Let us know if you need taxi instructions.
No need, we are here. Thank you. Alright, perfect. Parking brake is set. Now it's time to reap the rewards. Taxi lights off, everything off, avionics off. Mixture.
Engine off time logged. End of flight. Registered in OnAir Company.
There we go. The music to my ears. OnAir was able to capture all of that. We'll check that back in a bit. Beacon is off. Turn off everything. Beautiful. I guess that's where we should have been going to, huh? Should have looked for that guy. It works well enough. Alright, let's go and switch back to OnAir, see how that works. Monitored by OnAir, you used an accelerated simulation rate. There you go, it is detecting that. That's fine. XP received for this flight is 0 because this is a mission where we continue to finish all the legs before we get anything. But yeah, you can see here, each time our aircraft stalled, we got a minus 0.5 reputation. So that's really going to hit you a lot if you don't fly properly. We did get a comfort and safety bonus, but yeah, our reputation fell, so that kind of sucks. Yeah, we'll have to be more careful of that. I won't do autopilot anymore on this plane, just for safety. Right, that looks good. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. We arrived in one piece. I do like these long flights with the Cessna. Very scenic. No need to rush things. Very cool. Okay, so thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like me to focus on a particular aspect, let me know. Looking forward to the next one. Hope you guys are as well. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day and clumsy flying. Looking forward to more. Bye. That might be the wrong one, huh? Let's try that again.